something a little over my head.
So I'm going to start off. Just some basic questions about yourself.
Oh, my name is Joe F. Giles.
Joe F. Giles.
Mm-hmm.
When were you born?
1540.
Where were you born?
Pace, Mississippi.
Pace, Mississippi. Are you named after anyone?
2 uncles.
Both?
I got twin uncles. One of them was Joe and one named Frank. So Mama and them let them name me. They took one, named each one of them Joe Frank.
On your mother and father's side?
That was my mother's brothers.
What did you do? What did you do as an occupation?
After the military, I went to work for General Motors. I worked for a brick factory first. Then I went to General Motors. Then I worked General Motors and the Blues, St. Louis Blues.
You worked for the Blues?
Mm-hmm.
How long did you work there?
18 years.
Wow. Okay. Your religion, if any?
Baptist.
Do you have any siblings?
One son. Junior.
Okay, one son. So you have one child?
One child.
Okay. What's his name?
Joseph.
Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Were you married?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was married.
Can you say who you were married to?
Yeah, Maxine Loving and Ann Giles.
Okay. Do you have any siblings, any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, Delta Jones. Living. Delta is the only living one.
Okay. How many did you have total?
Maybe wait, Dale, John, Peanut 6.
You had 6 siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Are you the oldest, middle, youngest?
I'm next to the oldest boy.
Okay. Next to the oldest boy.
One.
Go ahead.
Oldest boy. He died first.
Okay. Can you list your siblings in the order of how old they are and old they were?
I don't know how old they are, but I can list them in order.
Okay.
Maggie B. Bertha Turner. Johnny Giles. Delta Jones. Willie James Giles. And Johnny E. Giles. Baby.
Multiple Johnnies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say your first one was Maggie B?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Kind of sounds like my grandmother's name.
Yeah.
Does that have any correlation with your name?
I don't think so. But they was all from Alabama, so older people didn't talk too much about family. Back then, you wasn't around them, you just didn't know.
Can you remember your first or your earliest memory?
First and early memory? Well, yeah, I guess I was about 5 or 6 when I started remembering things. We was down south then. I used to hang around my mother and them. We wasn't big enough to go to no field. We just hung out around my mother.
So you remember hanging out with your mother?
Mm-hmm.
You remember what she was doing?
Well, she was a field hand.
Can you explain the field?
She was a farmer.
A farmer, okay.
Mm-hmm. We used to go with her. We didn't do no work. We just out there playing.
What was the crop?
Cotton, beans, and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. How often did everyone go to the field?
That was on in the South. That was about the only job that a black man had in the summertime, because it's a seasonal thing.
Wow.
But then in the wintertime, my old man didn't do nothing but drive tractors and stuff. He didn't participate in no field. In the wintertime, he did commercial fishing. He was a commercial fisherman.
Were you guys sharecropping?
Mm-hmm. That's what they called it. That ain't what I called it.
What do you call it?
Robbery. Robbery.
Why do you say that?
Well, you figure like this. I remember we got ready, we were gonna leave in the South. I was about 14, 15 then. We was sharecropping for this man named George Davis. 5 of us, we picked 29 bales of cotton by ourselves between the 5 of us. And when he settled with us, he said we didn't have but $500 coming after 27 bales of cotton. And my mother told him, "You're not working my kids to death, but to make you rich." And we left there. That's how we had moved to a place called Leland. They left Leland and come on over here.
Wow.
You figure, bale of cotton then was over $500.
Wow.
And the 5 of us, we picked 29 bales of cotton, and he gonna tell us we didn't have but $500 coming. So that was robbery. With a pencil. See, my mother was a bit of a militant anyway. She didn't like nobody to mess with a kid. You get her damaged up when you start messing with some kids.
Can you explain your mother's name and your father's name? Who were they?
Oh, my father was Johnny W. Giles. My mother was Fanny Giles. Her maiden name was Rancher. They was born in Gaga, Alabama.
Out in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
What were they like?
I guess you regular Southern mother and father wasn't no different. We all was in the same boat. Cause you always sharecropping all the people. At least all the black people was there was sharecroppers. Only the ones that had small business and stuff, they didn't work for nobody. They didn't work for themselves.
I see. You said your mother was militant.
Oh yeah. She didn't care who you were, you didn't mess with a kid.
How did your parents meet?
Oh, they grew up together. They grew up around. They was in the Redden neighborhood. They grew up together.
In Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
Geiger.
Yeah.
Who was the oldest relative you remember? And what is your memory about them?
Oh, I remember my grandmother, your great grandmother. She was the oldest one.
What was her name?
May Frances Bird.
What is your first memory of her?
Oh, sitting around her, she had a big, huge Bible. You had to learn scripture. She set all the grandkids around her. She held Sunday school right there in Bible study at her house. And that was a every week thing.
Every week?
Every Wednesday and Thursday. Then we had to go to that little church I was telling you about on Morning Star in Bernard on Sunday. And that was all day because you had to go to Sunday school. Stay for church, and we were there all day.
Oh, wow.
Well, I guess then black people didn't have anything but a religion then to fall back on. I guess that's why, they just didn't have no place else to go but church. You just go worship every Sunday, all day Sunday.
All day Sunday.
BTU on Wednesday and Bible study on Thursday.
Wow.
All that was at your great-grandmother's house. It wasn't at church, it was at her house. See, that woman was a religious fanatic. She could quote anything you wanted about all you to do was ask her. She was walking Bible.
Walking Bible?
Yeah, she was a walking Bible.
Can you tell me about her home? What was it like?
Well, then, just like any other grandmother's home, she fixed them things she used to call tea cakes. They was about that big, they was sweet and stuff. She always had little snacks for the kids, for her grandkids around us.
Was it like, was it a big house?
Oh yeah, huge. That house had about 7-8 rooms to it. It was huge. But that was all she was just a home wife. She didn't go to no field. Your great-granddaddy didn't go to no field. They lived in the country, but they didn't go to no field. Your great-granddaddy, he was a cook for a golf course down there. For people at the golf course. They lived on the farm, but they didn't do no farming. Your great-grandmother never did go to the field. My aunties and stuff, her kids, they went to the field, but Catwood wouldn't let her go to the field. You stay here and take care of these grandkids and these kids.
Can you tell me more about Catbird?
Well, it's kind of sketchy, But we went around him too much. He wrecked a lot. But I know one thing about him. He loved his khaki pants and his white shirts, and he didn't want a wrinkle in his white shirts. They had to iron them then with them old iron. They didn't have no electric iron. They had them big old iron,
Put
them in the fire, and clean them, and then wipe that white shirt. Your great-grandmama could iron one of them things, would leave a wrinkle in that shirt. And that's what he wore, white shirts all the time. No other shirt but white. He's about 6'1", he didn't weigh over 150 pounds, so wet. With living the way he like it.
Wow. Tall and skinny.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you remember about her house? Was it like a centerpiece? Was it a big table? What was it? What is one memory you could draw from the house?
Well, it wasn't, I guess you could call it a centipede, but we didn't. The only time we sat down to eat at a table in the South like that was everybody had to come to the table on a Sunday, and everybody got around that big table she had, because her kitchen was huge. And everybody had to sit at the table on Sunday. Other than that, kids just ate what they want to eat, but it was mandatory that you sit down with the family on Sunday and eat.
When you say everyone, like who does that include? Does that include you and your family or other people too?
Now, her kids, your grandmother, my siblings, Wade's siblings. These are all the grandkids and stuff around.
Can you list who Grandma Bird kids were?
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to think of your grandmother's name. We called her Han. I'm trying to think of her name now.
Maggie?
Maggie, Margaret, Maddie, Margaret, Maddie, Margaret, Rachel, and Florence.
Florence. Can you name the men?
Ooh. Johnny Giles, Wade, Tommy Bird, Alfred Bird, and Samuel Bird. Those was your great grandmother kids.
Was it 9 of them? Or?
Yeah, it was 9 total of 9.
And your dad was the oldest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. And everybody sitting at the same table?
Mm-hmm. She had a huge kitchen. That house was huge. I don't know if the house was huge about me being little, it just looked huge to me, but we all sit around that and ate. That was mandatory.
Who would cook? Would Grandma Bird be the only one cooking?
She didn't let nobody mess around her kitchen. She do all the cooking.
What would a Sunday meal be like?
Well, most around there, you had pork, chicken, and that's the regular thing they had. You had everything around. 'Cause most of they grew their own food. All your vegetables and stuff, they grew that stuff. So you had to go out there and pick it. Poultry and stuff, you know, when they kill hogs and stuff, they just put their meat in a little smokehouse they had.
Wow.
They grew everything. Just about.
And they would kill a hog and put it in the smokehouse?
And smoke it and put it in the smokehouse, yeah.
How long
Cow.
would that stay?
Well, they kill them in the wintertime. I don't know what they used to smoke that meat with, but it would never spoil.
Really?
No, it wouldn't spoil.
Wow. Wow. How did on holidays, did everyone come together? How did you celebrate holidays?
We all came together in the holiday. Oh, but the kids, see, Grandma had a big yard, big front yard. It was big enough for us to play baseball in the front yard, and all the grown people sit on the porch and watch us play ball. It was just that her yard was just that big. And we had to keep it, we didn't have no lawnmower. You just had some holes and stuff. You had to keep that grass cut with that
The
sling blade.
Oh.
It was huge front yard.
That sounds like all day work.
It was, but it was fun because we just played ball. And I can remember she had one of them ice cream makers that they didn't go to the store to buy the ice cream. She made her own ice cream in that little hand turn thing, ice cream machine. So you gotta act your kid life.
Sounds like it. It sounds like it was a very rich time. What about your childhood home? Can you explain any
Know
memories?
nothing about it. Left there before I was a year old. Ain't never been back. Had no desire to go. I just know where I was born at. My mother and them left there when I was 9 months old. And I never did go back. I keep saying I'm gonna go see could I find it, but I don't think so.
And that was in Pace?
Pace.
Once you moved from Pace, where'd you go?
Mom and them came to Bernard. They left Alabama and came to Pace. And they left Pace, came to Bernard.
What about your home in Benoit? What was that like?
Oh, I was in the city then, you know. Got out of that dark and out of them fields. See, we live right in the city on Broad Street.
Broad Street. Was the city fast?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You had all your blues legend and stuff you used to play right in our backyard. You had club over here, club there, club over here, Little Milton, this blues, Elmo James, B.B. King, they all used to play in these juke joints on the weekend. We wasn't supposed to be in there, but I just like telling somebody, hey, you can't have a drink of water. We're gonna slip in there.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was 14, 15 years old then. We slip in there.
Wow.
Leland was a town, something like Mount Bayou. 90% black.
Was it a big town, small town?
Well, I guess you could say it was big by that time. It was over 25,000 people in there.
Wow.
In the city itself. I ain't talking about the little suburbs around it.
Were other family members in the area? And who?
Well, all of your mother and her siblings, me, my siblings, we all was associated with Leland one way or the other, let's put it that way. See, we had some peoples that, my father had peoples living in Leland, that's how we ended up there. See, when Daddy left Bernard, he didn't farm anyway, he knew about drive tractor, then he went working for the government at one of them experiment stations where they grow experiment things. So he when he was down there, he worked for that government experiment company.
Wow. Did he ever tell you any stories about that working there?
To me, it wasn't no work. They just walk out there and tag this and different kind of stuff. They crossbreeding everything on that. That's all they did. They just it wasn't selling anything. They just crossbreeding different things. Wow. That's the first time I ever saw any pink cotton when they crossbreed that cotton and stuff. You know, I don't know how they did that, but they had a big lab, something like a lab. I bet that thing was 3 blocks long while they did all their work in there, and then they tried it out in the fields and stuff, see how it worked. They didn't do nothing but experiment work.
Like agriculture?
Yeah.
You said pink cotton.
Yeah. Yeah.
They was doing that back. Wow.
Back then they was doing it.
Wow. How many rooms did your house have? Did it have electricity, indoor plumbing, telephones?
No indoor plumbing. Had electric though.
Was it like an outhouse?
Outhouse.
Mm-hmm. In your house, was there any special items that you remember?
Nah. Just a regular house to me, you know.
Can you describe the personalities of your parents and siblings?
Well, we was every person, you know, you trying to make it and trying to think about the only way you know how to get out of there. Everybody. See, my mother and father didn't have too much education. But they used to tell us, you're going to school and you're going to go to college because you're not going to be here waiting for these people all your life. She was that type individual.
Wow. So she really wanted y'all out of there.
Wanted her out of there. She said the only way you gonna get out of there is education is gonna get you out of here. You're not gonna do what me and your daddy doing. And she stuck with her guns too.
What type of games did you play as a kid? Baseball, you said?
Baseball. You know, well, it wasn't all in no, you didn't have nothing but baseball to play in. Didn't have no gym. You had to play outside basketball with that big old pole up there and the thing outside. So we played a little basketball. There are two in the little old school they had. There was a junior high school, because you had to go to Roseville, Mississippi, to high school. They had a gym, but that junior high school in Bernard, you had outdoor goals and stuff. It'd be cold in the dog, but we out there playing ball. Got pretty good at it too.
How far did you have to travel for high school?
About 17 miles. But you had a bus to pick you up.
Okay. Did you and all your siblings go to high school together?
Yeah, some of us in grade school and some was in high school, but in the last two finished here. John and my baby brother, they finished out the east side.
Oh wow. So y'all had already moved. What was your chores like as a kid? Did you have set assignments to clean up and do certain things?
Oh yeah, you had your workload you did. And it consists of everything, because Mama, she believed in everybody know how to cook, and you had to cook. You had a day, you had to cook. And I don't care what you had to do. If your day fell on the weekend, you had to cook. Now, this wasn't only when you was, 14, 15 years old. This happened even after that. As long as you know how you had a day to cook. Your little girl had to sit up there until you cooked dinner. And you wasn't going to mess up that dinner, or you going to eat it.
What do you remember cooking? What did you have to cook?
Full course meal. Everything. Mama taught us how to cook everything. She sit right there, show you how to do it. When she thought you had it down, she let you do it and tell you messed this up, you gonna eat it. So you paid attention to what she was telling you.
What was your favorite meal of hers to cook for you?
Well, you didn't have too much thing then. Like I say, you got all your vegetable stuff out the garden, your beans, your greens, and grew your own chickens. And you had your pork and beef and stuff, so it just was a soul food meal, that's all it was.
I hear you. Did you guys ever cook for Thanksgiving or anything like that?
No. Later on. Not when I first started, but later on we did. See, Daddy was the average hunter too, see. He hunted a lot.
Really? What would he hunt?
Well, you got turkey, wild geese. See, the Mississippi River run out in the country just like it run through town here. The river run right through there.
Really? Of all the things you learned from your parents, what do you think stands out most valuable?
I remember when Daddy come up here. he always would work all the week for this man plantation we were living on. But on Saturday, we could go out and all the money we make there, they wouldn't take none of that money, they would let us keep it. But they used that to learn you how to save money. You spend so much, save so much. Because if you spend it all, you didn't have nothing. And then when you got so much, Daddy will tell you, boom, you got to put a little food in the house. And some of this money you better save it and get while you can have some school clothes. So he was teaching us how to handle money even at a young age. But I didn't realize what he was doing until I got grown.
Did you like get upset when you were at the time when he?
Ooh, yes. Because I wanted to spend it all right then. Did spend it all a couple of times, but he was true to his saying. You went back to school, all other kids had new clothes and you had them old clothes. That was, he used to say, bought sense, you just bought that sense. They didn't have that much education, but they sure made sure we was gonna have it. Wasn't nothing gonna stop you from now. School time come, mamas tell them, my kids going to school. They ain't doing no work, they going to school. And we went to school.
Sounds like they fought real hard for that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's education that was my mother's thing. But like she used to say, I learned all this when I was grown because I didn't have the opportunity to go to school like y'all had. And she should tell you all the time, don't do like I did. So I could have went a little further, but I didn't want to walk to school, because mama them, they was in Alabama, they had pretty good distance to walk to school. We had a school, I guess, it was about big as Eastside Gym, but they cut it up. What it was, 1 through 6th grade was over here, 1 through that, and 8th and 9th grade was over here, but you didn't have too many people in that class, because when you got to 8th or 9th grade, you had to go to Rosedale, to high school.
And all in one big room.
In that junior high school, yeah. They just had petitions blocking it off. It was just one open building, but they had them sliding petitions. They could close it off. White kids, they had all the comforts and all the science stuff. We didn't have nothing like that. Didn't even see nothing like that until I got to high school.
What is one memory you have of high school?
Oh, and I used to love chemistry class, and they didn't have nothing like that. Like junior high school, you got it to junior high school now. They didn't have nothing like that down south. Only time you saw something like that is when you was in high school. That's why it was so hard for black people to go to college, because you weren't prepared for college coming up like that. And the few that did get lucky enough to go, they struggled. It was a struggle.
Did you play any sports in high school?
Yeah, baseball, football, and track.
Do you remember the name of the high school or middle school or junior high school?
Mm, yeah, it was just Bernard Junior High School. Then I got to Leland, there was Breeze High School.
Breeze.
Hmm.
Did you guys ever go to the movies or anything like that?
That's all we had to do was go to the movie. Oh yeah.
What movie do you remember? Movies do you remember going to see?
Well, most back then, we were coming up. They mostly had them old westerns and them action movies, more action movies, you know. That's way before Clint Eastwood. You talking about Johnny Mac Brown, Rocky Lane, Wild Bill Elliott, all them people, that's way before Eastwood.
I never even heard of these people.
That's what I'm talking about. That's way before that. That's way before that. I hope you don't go to that military work. I hate it. Don't like to talk about it.
I understand. How did you meet your spouse?
We grew up together.
In Leland?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you got married in Leland or in East St. Louis?
East St. Louis.
Tell me about your wedding day.
He can't really say it was a wedding. We just had a little, just about all of us got married at home. I did have some wedding pictures, but I don't know. The only one I got now is my baby brother when he got married. I don't know what happened to mine. Yeah, that's the baby brother up there with your great grandmama.
I seen that picture.
Yeah,
So that was your baby brother's wedding?
yeah.
Wow. And where was that at? Was that at here?
Right here.
Oh wow. Tell me about. Oh, were you gonna say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the day your first child was born.
I was overseas. I was I was 13 months old when I first saw him.
That's when you got back from.
No, I was in Germany then. I was in a little place called Ludwigsburg, about 15 days outside of Stuttgart, for 18 months.
What'd you do there?
When I came home, my son was born. They didn't believe in giving you no leave, no paternity leave like that. They got it now, but they didn't have it then.
What was it like the first day you seen him?
Shock, oh, just kind of, you were glad, but you sad you couldn't be there.
I understand. Tell me about some of your friends.
Oh, well, I had who I know was Collis McNeil and Neil Alexander. We went through high school and later together, all through military. And he's still living out Arizona, we talk now. But that's lifelong, two lifelong friends that we kept up with each other. Neil Alexander, he retired out there. He didn't get out. He retired. He lives in Phoenix now. Every 2 or 3 years we'll hook up.
So all three of y'all survived the war.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think each other played a part in your survival in the war?
No doubt. See, when you something like that, those people will come closer than your own brother because you have to depend on each other. So we know each other from grade school.
And all three of you still living?
Mm-hmm. Yep. College, he still living. He went to college at he used this GI Bill to go to college at Alcorn State.
Describe your first job.
You could call it a job. My first job was a car washing job when I was going to school, It kept $5 or $6 in my pocket that way. That's all I can remember. It supplied my need at the time. For a young man, if you could go to school with $5 or $6 in your pocket.
What did you do with your first paycheck?
Wasn't no paycheck, they paid you in cash. See, an old man, he was up here, East St. Louis then. He had a 54 Fairlane Ford that I the only one could drive. I was a young man with a car. Enjoyed that.
What was your favorite job and why?
Well, I'd say General Motors. Because you couldn't really call it a job, not for where I was standing, because of computer printouts. While you scheduling every part on the car, you have to look at that computer printout, make sure it's in the right place, get what part. Because they were running 4 or 5 different cars on the same line, and it was up to you to put that, whatever go on that car, you had to put it on that belt. When they go down there, they'll know what to put on it. So I just sit there all day and read that. So I enjoyed that.
You had to. So you were in charge of putting the parts on the belt?
I was scheduling. I was scheduling what the parts supposed to be. They had a line coming there while you just stick the printout sheet on there. You might get a Corvette that goes up there with a bumper, but it got to be in the right place. And whatever part go on there, you have to look on there and put that on there while they'll know what to put on there. So you just read printouts all day.
I see. They pay you good?
And I retired 15 years ago, I was making $33 an hour. In the 60s, you could buy that stock, $16, $17. 20 years from there, I go to something 83, 84. It was $59 a share. All of us worked there, all my brothers and my brother-in-law. We all worked over there.
Was this in St. Louis?
Yeah. They worked out, went on out to Wentzville. John and the one next to me.
Who are some of your heroes? People you look up to, admire?
Well, they know some heroes. I really admired my father. I like, for a man didn't have that much education. He knew how to make money, but he didn't know how to invest money. He could make it, but he just didn't know how to invest it. He knew how to get things done. He knew what he wanted to do, but he didn't know how to invest money. Like everything he put his money in, other people just took advantage of him because he didn't have that education. But the good Lord always took care of him. He bounced right back.
Where were you at when Dr. King got shot? Do you remember?
68. No, I was here. Yeah, I was here. I was living in Alexandria, Virginia when Kennedy got shot right outside of D.C.
How was it then?
If you was a black man, you couldn't leave the post. They didn't allow no black people because of the riots everywhere.
Black folks was riding?
Mm-hmm.
And this was during Kennedy or King?
Both of them. Right here in East St. Louis, boy, look at you, had a lot of militant people that didn't believe in nonviolence. And it just so happened that same week Kennedy got killed, H. Rap Brown was speaking downtown. Right here. Right here.
Wow.
And they started setting stuff on fire on 15th Street, 15 Broadway. Mama was working on 15th Street there for a man named Preston. And H. Rap Brown was in here, and that's when he had that baby burn thing. He spoke downtown. Same night the man got killed. All the devil broke loose. That was two of them. I said I never want to be in that again because I was in Kings and Kennedys. When Kennedy got killed, the White House locked down was only 10 miles from the White House when I was in Alexandria, Virginia. And they locked everything down. If you were black, you couldn't go downtown, period. Because ain't nothing in Alexandria, ain't a black person, ain't nothing in Alexandria, Virginia, but your congressman and all them live in Alexandria. They don't live in Washington. They live in...
What were your favorite songs and music?
Well, church music. I liked all the groups there, but secular music, most instrumental, man. I like jazz.
You like Miles?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Coltrane?
Mm-hmm. See, when I was here, every Sunday afternoon, we used to go on St. Louis, 26 and Whitaker. Gene Lynn's had that place over there then, Quartet Tribune. And the lady that sang at Mount Zion now, I don't know if you ever heard her sing. She can really sing with them funny looking glasses. You probably didn't heard her. She can blow. She was the leader, Quartet Tribune. And Reverend Aldrich, he was the leader of the Black Seed Band. You know Black Seed? Yeah, ooh, Reverend Hollis could sing and he play organ. Man can smoke organ. The pastor said he don't want him to bring him in there old Lord. I told him you gonna have to forget Lord, we need an organ player. And the man can play organ and he joined the church. Use his talents.
He a part of Mount Zion?
Yeah. Yeah. Reverend Hollis, the one was up there singing with us today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he used to lead the Black Seed. He had a 9-piece band and they could play. He sure enough could sing. See, all of them did the blues thing before they come to church.
I see. Started secular, then moved into.
Mm-hmm. Well, they was already in spiritual, then they moved to circle out of spiritual, but they came back to.
Did you ever like Motown or anybody?
Yeah, I love the Temps and some Smokey. Yeah, I love Motown.
How long have you gone to Mount Zion?
Ooh. In the 50s when I first started. I didn't belong there, but I used to go there all the time. Because that's why our family was brought up in Mount Zion. Because see, your great-grandmama, she was there 72 years. My mother was there almost 70. They have been there over 50. But we all, even if you didn't belong to that church, you went to Mount Zion because that's where the whole family congregated to Mount Zion. From when it was over there by Kaufman Store on Tudor, before they built this one here. See, when that highway come through there on that Poplar Street Bridge, the state bought all the property. They're going through Tudor.
Can you describe your move, and you and your family moving from Mississippi to East St. Louis?
Yeah, it was no describe in it. Dad hadn't saved enough money. And years ago, Mama told her, pack up. He got one dude to come down there and in his car. See, Daddy left his car there. That's the car I was driving. And we loaded everything on the trailer behind that, the 2 cars. Came on over.
Why'd y'all choose East St. Louis?
But when Daddy left that government experiment station there, I don't know what made him want to come here, but he had been here. At one time or another during the 40s, they all had been to East St. Louis because, see, they were migrating from the south to the jobs, and then you had Swift, Armor Pike Company, and all them companies. They're doing that kind of work. The white folk weren't gonna do that manual labor then. But they was paying good money at that time. So all your black folks was migrating here for jobs.
Oh, wow.
That's how that ended up, like that.
Was it easy to find a job here?
Oh man, you could walk out one place, quit one place, and go right across the street to get hired. Because I bet you half of East St. Louis work for Swift or Armor. The rest of them were working for Monsanto, Glass House. He had 40, 50 little bitty more business. You know how that little business jump up associated with them type business. All them trucking companies and all the train, cause you had the roundhouse out there where them train turn around and load that meat and stuff on them freezer cars. They turn right out there in the south end and they load in. You had a lot of people working there. So it wasn't no thing about no job.
Did your father work there?
Well, went to the Southern Railroad. He went to Southern Railroad. When he left the Southern Railroad, he went to the Blues. He had worked for one of them old white men that owned the Blues, Solomon, a long time ago. And they offered him more money than he was making out there, plus the inside work. He was not outside.
Did you have any pets? If so, what was their name?
Always had. I didn't have no pets. Dad had pets. I just had pets after I got by myself. I keep old dog around. Got one around here now. He eats me out of house and home, but he is a good watchdog.
What's his name?
Little Red. I don't know why I call him Little Red, because he weigh almost 100 pounds. What Reggie gave me that dog, he a pit bull and a chow mix. Because the one I had, somebody poisoned it. They threw some stuff over my fence and poisoned it.
How's the world different today from when it was when you were a kid?
Well, we said it was different, but it's not too much different. It got more violent. That's the only thing I can see, because we did some of the things these kids done now, but it just done got a little violent. People's, especially young men, they didn't got in a mode they don't care. They're not afraid of death. They don't mind dying.
What did your family enjoy doing together?
Well, we later on when we got us some size, Mama them and Daddy loved to fish. That's why we got it. They gave us the fishing bug early. Load us up and we all go fishing. We enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. That was something that we all could do. And all the holidays, we'll go fishing and take a little stove, butane stove and stuff, and cook fish and stuff right on the lake as we caught them. See, my sister, they and them had that RV. They had the stove there, and we go catch the fish, clean them, and Mama and them go there and cook it up. We'll eat fish, drink a little beer, and go back fishing some more. I enjoyed that. Regular gang fish, catfish, crappie, bluegill, we catch it all. That was something that my father, he loved to do, because he used to say it relaxed him. He got all what we all load up and go fishing. On holidays, we'd make it all day. So we had that RV, we could plug it in anywhere on one of these lakes and go fishing.
I've never learned how to fish.
Yeah, I didn't either, but Daddy had got so he didn't see too good, and I haven't had driver license since I was 13. So I didn't have to drive him. Mama insisted I drive him because she didn't want him on that lake by herself. So then the bug bit me.
Would y'all two go together?
Yeah, I had to drive him. Mama didn't want him on that lake by herself. You know, the eyes were getting kind of bad, because he had 2 cataract surgeries and wasn't seeing too good. And Mama said, well, you got to drive him. So when he wanted to go fishing on the weekend, I was the designated driver.
So you learned to fish?
Yeah.
Following that?
Mm-hmm.
What accomplishments are you most proud of?
Well, what I'm really proud of is I can't say that I accomplished anything. But I'm just proud I did some of the things that Mama and Daddy wanted all of us to do, the boys especially. Stay out of trouble, work hard to get what you want. And thank God all three of us did that. Nobody never been to jail. And that's a hard thing to do when you're a teenager coming up in East St. Louis.
What is one thing you would like people to remember about you?
Well, I guess you could say that trustworthy and prompt. If I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Always been that way. If I make my mind up to do something, usually I'll do it.
You remember Grandma Bird's mother?
Vaguely.
What is one thing you remember about her?
Sitting down seeing Grandma Bird when she was down south. She had a lot of peach trees in her. And big while we're talking about she had a lot of peach trees and pecan trees on the edge of the house. And Grandma Bird's mother used to love to eat them peaches because she wore an apron all the time. She'd go to them trees. She wouldn't let us go to the trees. She'd get that apron, go fit it up. Peaches time, they start turning. She would give us peaches off the tree like that because we couldn't go out there. See, them people told you then you can't go out there and pick the peaches up. You didn't go to that tree. And you know what was coming. She was a strict person just like you. Grandma. She was very strict. She wasn't a talkative woman, but she wasn't as religious as Miss Bird. But she was just as firm.
Was she married? Do you remember what she looks like?
Yeah, when you're small like that, you can vaguely look what they look like, but I never saw her husband. I don't know whether he was dead or what. Because you didn't ask old peoples back then anything about their business. You a kid, you stay in kid place. And that's just the way it was. I don't know who started that way, but that's just the way it was. When I knew her, she was just her and Miss Bird. I never did know the husband.
Okay, your last name, where did it come from? And where did Giles come from? And where did Bird come from?
Bird was from Cap Bird. That was your grandmama's first husband. My daddy and Will Lucas Giles had different daddies than your grandmama and them. See, it was two half brothers, my daddy and Will Lucas, and Wade is what they call it. The name was Will Lucas, what they call it, Wade. That was the Giles part of the family. See, and they never did take Cap Bird's name. See, Cap Bird was your grandmother's husband. Dad and Will Lucas had a different father.
Do you know where anything about him?
On somebody I know about is Cap Bird. I never noticed. Only time I met any of the Giles families when I was big enough then to drive Daddy to Alabama and Giles and meet some of the Giles there, but I think he was dead then. I don't never remember meeting him.
They were still in Alabama?
Mm-hmm. On my daddy's side, you know, Miss Bird and them, they had some people still there too, but my father's father, they were still living in Gag. But they was dead when I got big enough to know, you know, anything about it.
You said you had a sister named Maggie B.
That's the oldest one.
The oldest. Was she named after my grandmother or anything?
You know, I never know. Because I never did ask Mama about that. I didn't find out. See, my mother had twins. I didn't know she had twin brothers. I think I met them for the first time at 56 or 57. I drove her and Dad to Alabama, and we stopped in Mobile, and Mama said, well, we'll stop in Mobile, let you see the people that named you. Who did? She said, them my twin brothers, Joe and Frank. And I said, why in the world did you let them people's name mean this? Well, that's how I came by my name, from her two twin brothers.
In Mobile, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember my grandmother, or my mother, or Aunt Demetrius, or Aunt Hazel, or Aunt
Yeah, I
Cora?
remember. Me and Hazel the same age. Yeah. Went out the east side with Hazel. Yeah, I remember all that.
Were y'all the first class, black class at East Side? Or?
No. We were pretty close. Because it still was one or two blacks to a class. When we was out there, we was pretty close. We didn't make it the only one. It was one to a class, because I think I had two people in all of my classes out there. It was my color me.
Did they have to escort y'all in with guns?
No. See, I want to go to Lincoln. I was a football player. Run like the wind. Samuel took me and rolled me in Lincoln. I didn't roll in Lincoln. Coach down and out the east side found out about it. They went downtown to the school board and said, no, you can't do that because you live on that side of Missouri. You got to go to the east side. I could have stayed in Lincoln. I started going to class in Lincoln. I could have stayed there. But your grandmother wouldn't lie for me until I stayed with her. Because she said I stayed with her. I could have went to Lincoln. And I ain't going to tell that lie. She didn't do it either.
Was Lincoln the black school?
Yeah. Yeah. All you peoples in the South End, which the South End predominantly black, all them was going to Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Only time we'd meet up at the Lux Show and stuff like that.
What was that?
On 15th Street.
Was that like a club?
No, it was a movie.
Mm.
Right there on about a block from 15 to Broadway. Going east.
The Lux Show.
Yeah. They didn't show nothing but old westerns and them Buster Crab, them, what they call them, them ships. What they call them things? Spaceships. People in a action move out of the spaceships and stuff. That's all they showed there. You could go downtown. Majestic, they didn't treat you right down there. You was black, so we didn't go down there. We stuck to that 115th Street and the one down there on Broadway, downtown.
What was East St. Louis like growing up as a teenager?
East St. Louis. I thought it was the craziest place I ever saw. When I first got here, because see, everything was wide open. And I think this is possibly what got East St. Louis in the shape it is now. You had one man running the whole city for 20 years.
Who was that?
Fields. His name was Fields. He ran this city with an iron hand for 20 years. When Fields left here, the city was broke. That's when you got your first black mayor, Mayor Williams. Williams got in here, this city was in all kind of debt. And they've been getting the shaft ever since.
What year did you move up, and how old were you?
Where?
To East St. Louis.
Oh, I was in high school when I first moved up here. I was 16. Right at 16.